FuturesTraderElite here this morning with you to do the NQ Premarket Prep for 8/13/25. Got some things to go over and look at here. We got the 1 hour chart pulled up here. As you can see, we filled our measured move on the 1 hour we had been talking about. Was at around 950, 952 up here. We finally got that fill at the end of the day, and it's been a slow consolidation and grind up. So something we have no overhead to pay attention to as far as actual resistance right now. All we can really do is make some judgment calls. I mean, there will be some spots now. You know, we had been making that measured move from that 4 hour or daily trend line, this large green line. We had been making our measured move, so I put that measured move right here where it touched this trend line yesterday, and that puts that measured move now up to 24,238, right in that area. So you would think if it's up there, maybe it's at 24,235, so say 240, 250 if we sweep area. That measured move can, maybe find that top if it wants to keep grinding up, but that's on the bull side. I really think they're going to try to pull this back from there, especially since we already made that measured move to the 950 area and then hit the whole number of 24 that I was talking about. Question is do they want to keep on the bullish side or the bearish? But let's say that they want to drain it off today some. We need to break this major trend line if they want to really put a drain. We need to come back, break this trend line and come back to the 50% fib or so and see what it does in that area, which would be around 400. At 600 points sounds like a lot, but that really is not. Of course, we got zone boxes and everything else that we have to worry about first. But let's take this 1 hour down to the 15 real quick and look at it for a second and see if we can get a different picture here. Okay, so on the 15, no matter what kind of trend lines we try to throw on here, they just don't really look that great because of the way this structure looks. See, you bring the 15 out here, everything's going to be so close. Whether this was a 1 hour trend line, because I already tried that, it looked like is the 15. They're all going to look the same because we're up, slow grind this way. The only other option you have right now, you could do some channels on it, which you could come back here and say you want to channel it, pick a spot. This one looks better than most would, it looks like, and then you copy that, paste it to the chart, and then drag it to the top side. Then you can adjust this a little bit. You can go like that. And kind of see what it does in this channel here until we get a better formation of the candles. Keep an eye on it like that if you'd prefer to do that. I'm going to be looking for one thing, I guess, and that is if we stay on the bullish side, I really don't want to be trying to chase the top of this to short. It's how you'll get chopped out of something or lose something. So I would just be waiting. If it decided it wanted to keep grinding up, I'd be waiting for a short up in that area unless it shows me some kind of weakness. Some kind of weakness on the way up there. Okay, now with these pivots on the 1 hour, we see we got a golden pivot right here that is right above a zone box and trend line. Showing we can put some resistance here as far as pivots go. So those would be worth keeping an eye on. Now that we put these pivots on this chart, something that I like that I'm seeing is, say that later on we come down and we come down to this pivot right here is just at the top of the zone box. I would like to see this, even if it was in pre-market, come back into this zone box. I don't want it to happen until it gets over here. This would be an A+ setup. Keeps doing, chopping around, whatever. Gets over to this area somewhere close to this trend line. Comes down into this box. Hits this trend line plus this pivot here. I'd be all over this spot right here with some risk for a bounce back to the zone box probably. Or, I mean, that puts us down around the bottom of that box is 800 to 830. So if we could get in this box, I'd be looking for at least a bounce halfway back, 885, 870, good 30 or 40 points, if not better. This is what I would be looking at this morning. Could possibly happen in pre-market. There's still a lot of pre-market left. And then if we got that move, that could be a bounce to go even higher over here. I can't see this keep grinding up to that line. But it very well could. So let's look at the bearish side again real quick. We're gonna say we come down and break that line. We got this zone boxes at 650, 653 actually. We would have to watch each one of these for a bounce because it's been so bullish so far this month. Although seasonality, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be weak this time of the year, starting this month. So we're going into the second half of the month. We could see this drain off. So just keep that in mind. Let's move this chart off and let's bring up, let's say this chart maybe. Yeah. All right. So, man, what a mess. Get rid of this stuff off my chart. We're going to move this to the 5-minute real quick. See if we can get us an idea of what all we got going on here. Get rid of that. We're going to draw us a zone box up here where that measured move fill was at. I'm going to start right in this area is around 925. We're going to go to about 955 right there for now. We had this move back here, consolidation, confluence of price before it finally broke out and went up some more. The market reopened back here somewhere overnight. And so if we can kind of use this as a low, 921, we don't have a lot of movement. It don't look like here. But I'm going to go on and put a fib here for now. Let's call that our, thought I was going to put a fib there. So let's call our bottom there. Something like that. And this was the around 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to draw a trend line right here on this 5-minute for now. Because if this is a keep by the dip situation, you know, that's a pretty good line right there. Come down. So now we got one touch, 2 touch, about almost 3 touch. That could be, this line could be a little bit tighter. You know, we come down here. If I'm gonna be trying to do some scalping, I'm gonna be looking for buy the dip on this line, as close to this line as possible. Get 5 or 10, 15 points, 5 or 10, 15 points, riding it up. That is, if that's a pattern it keeps doing. As far as pullbacks with this fib on the 5-minute, we got the 50% is at 970, but with this box being here, I would not be surprised for them to come back down here and test anything from the top of this box to the bottom. And then as far as looking at the 5-minute time frame, if it does come down here and bust through this 100% fib at the bottom, you know, we're going to be aiming for this yellow line, no doubt. We can get rid of that overhead red trend line because it don't mean nothing anymore. But this box does. So does this pivot. You see the pivot on the 5 minutes at 832. Acts like a magnet. But we're way away from our major trend line on the 5-minute. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see how the market opens or see what happens about an hour before the market opens. It might start moving around a little more. Right now on the bearish side, what we're looking at is anything above this box from 925 to 955. You know, if it can hold this box, it can definitely keep going higher. Below this box, I think we short down to 845. You know, we get to that level, you know, you got to make these judgment calls as it's playing out, but we get to the 845 area, then we have this box not too far below that plus this pivot. First touch to this line could be an inversion long, or it could be this pivot, or it could be this box. If we get a big drop like that, 200-300 points, you're going to find an inversion long inside that somewhere. You would think it would be completely normal if we did. I missed the inversion long yesterday by 10 points. I didn't do a video on it, but I'm going to show you where I missed it. And what I was doing, I was being patient, was right here. I had a bunch of orders. I think, well, I say a bunch. I had 5 or 6 orders tagged right here on this drop in this zone box, but they were all right here, starting right here at 615 was my first one, and I had them lined up going down just to right here at this line, 605. So I had a 10-point spread right here that I had orders set in on this line, and I was recording and just sitting and waiting, and that wick right there come down to like 621. So it missed picking up my first one by 6 points. So anywhere from 6 to 10 points, and I could have had several of them in, and then that inversion long got put in and practically went up like 300 points. You know, it went to the 900s. So I was it. It is what it is. I hated it. I did buy like one or two off of this. I think right here in this candle, but I only scalped it. I didn't hold them. So I did get some green in some funded accounts with that right there, but I sure wish it would have picked these up right here off of this trend line. But that's what happens sometimes. It might not ever come back and actually touch it, especially on the 1 minute. But then had I been watching the 1 hour at the same time, I might have looked at that different, but I didn't pull it up at that time until after the fact. But here's the 1 hour. You know, we put in that big 1 hour candle there, and it put in a buy signal yesterday morning. And as soon as that buy signal got put in, it gave almost that whole move back. Then this candle opened up, and literally on the 1 hour, looks like the wick touched the trend line, pushed all the way back up. The FTE buy signal got put in at the top of this candle, and then this one. So this would have been a horrible buy on this signal. But I mean, if you're using stops and got good discipline, yeah, you would have took a loss, but surely you wouldn't have stayed into that hour candle. But then again, if you had bought this one, it never pulled back, and that was around 775, and that candle there closed at 868, so almost 100 points in that 1 hour candle. Could have just bought one contract and made over $2,000 if you held up in here off one NQ contract. And that's something about these FT signals. You know, it ain't just about these signals or for this indicator that I built. This is for any that I've ever tested myself or purchased myself. Is you run them on a 1 minute chart, they're just not going to be that great all the time. There's not enough information on a 1 minute chart to get a good signal because everything's moving so fast. But for scalping wise, it's okay as long as you got good discipline. But on larger time frames, like that's the third time this month on the hour chart that signal got put in, and would have been a really, really good trade. Like it did it here. You know, there was over 100. This one here didn't have any pullback either, but like 2 points. That was at 75.25. That candle closed at 245. I mean, that's a huge move, one contract. Then over here, same thing happened. This had a little more pullback. This closed at 281, but pulled back to like 260. That's 20-point move. With one contract, I might have held through that, maybe, depending on what the smaller time frame looked like with the indicators and stuff. But if you could have gotten that and held it, you know, at 282, that one closed at 366. I mean, these are almost 100-point moves in these candles, and if you would have just held a little longer, you could have got the full move. And then turn around, same thing happened here yesterday. So I'm going to keep trying to pay closer attention to that 1 hour chart with them buy signals. It's hard to pass something up like that once you see it, and that it's happened 3 times. It's only put in 4 buy signals on the 1 hour so far this month, and one was horrible, and the other 3, just one of the other ones would have well made up for the one that was a loser by a lot. So worth keeping an eye on. let me get that chart back off here. I didn't mean to get off track, but I want to show you about this inversion long that I missed yesterday. Sometimes you got the right plan for the A plus setup and it just don't trigger. And what you don't want to do is if your game plan is down here and you don't get picked up, you don't just go chasing fear of missing out. Like I said, I bought one or two up here looking at the 1 minute because I could see, let's switch this to the 1 minute right here. You could see the inversion long setting up. Well, let me get back over where we was at. Show you what I was looking at on the, I was watching it on the 1 minute when I had my orders set. So I had all them orders set right down here, barely missed me, but am I in the right spot? Was this yesterday? Yeah. So when we had this on the 5 minute chart, this candle here had a long wick in it, which was an inversion, you know, on the 5 minute candle. But when this dropped, that when these drops right here happen pretty fast, you know, bam, bam, good little bounce, but bam, gave it all back with one candle. Classic scenario for more downward pressure. But then with this one, I was like, oh man, we're gonna tag that trend line. And then it put in that on the 5 minute that the inversion candle sucked it all back up, and then this candle here, and then you know they're building this little flag right here like they want to take it lower possibly, and then the MACD of course is way below the zero line, but then it put this buy signal in right here crossing on this candle, and I'm like, man, this is classic. Then it put in this candle here, and as soon as I seen this little section on the 1 minute and got that little crossover signal there coming up, I bought somewhere right here at this yellow line again, and I think I scalped this move right here to get me some green. And then of course this is typical here. We got back into this box, come up here, what it's trying to do is a structure break right here, but then when it got top of that box, it come down and wick to the bottom of this line again, which is retesting this itty bitty structure break right here, which I talk about. You got to pay attention to these smaller structure breaks on the 1 minute if you're going to be trading off the 1 minute. Retested it, sucked back up, and then come over here and broke this one here and just kept on grind, you know, consolidate here and grind a little more until we get more structure break up here. All stuff to look at, but that's all we're going to be going over today in NQ Premarket Prep. If there's anything else y'all'd like me to go over, let me know. You know, if you want to, if anybody's interested in the FTE indicators for NinjaTrader 8, they are back up and running on Gumroad. The links are in my YouTube channel. So is the Future Trader Blueprint. The links are in there for that. I'm going to be uploading some more material for the Future Trader Blueprint, like some worksheets that you can follow and things you can do in pre-market to mark up for your trades. That way you can have them right in front of your face and check things off the list on things that you're looking at that I think will be helpful for people. And then, you know, this is what we do every day. So give me a like and a subscribe, comment. I'll try to do some recaps. Maybe we can catch some good moves today and I will see you guys then. Have a good day. Have a good trading day.